Strap in tight, for you are now entering the sacred land of grilled cheese. Not only will we be comparing cheap grilled cheese to expensive grilled cheese, we're also finally gonna put the question to rest: should you use mayo on a grilled cheese? And as always, there is no time to waste, my friends. Now let's go! I went to my local supermarket that's definitely on the cheaper side and found this loaf of white bread for $1.98, or 7 cents per slice. I also figured while we're on the subject of cheap cheese, let's compare 4 different cheap types of cheese. Starting with the cheapest cheese on our list, American singles. These come in at $1.89 per pack, or 11 cents per slice. That's some cheap plastic cheese, my friends. Next up, the mighty cheddar cheese. That is $2 per pack, or 20 cents per slice, only 10 slices per pack. We've got Swiss cheese at the same price point, $2 a pack, or 20 cents per slice. Lastly, Jack cheese, same deal, $2 per pack, or 20 cents per slice. I can't make a grilled cheese video and not talk about the comparison between mayo, butter, and clarified butter for that toasty bread. Clarified butter is actually really simple to make. Just take a small pot and set it over low heat. Then just simply set in your butter and let this come up to temperature without touching it or moving it at all. After just a few minutes, the cream that is left over from the butter making process will simply rise to the top. Then you could use a ladle, a spoon, a slotted spoon to just start skimming that cream out of the butter. Take your time here to make sure you get all the cream off the top, because it will keep bubbling up and rising up even after you think it's all done. And then I like to just pour it through a small little strainer to catch any remaining cream solids that have been left. And there you have it, my friends, clarified butter. And what you've essentially done is raise the smoke point of this fat so you can do high heat cooking with it. Stick with me for a minute and I'm gonna prove to you just how much mayo sucks for a grilled cheese. So we're gonna test our 3 different fats: mayo, clarified butter, and butter. I'm just using an offset spatula to spread on the mayo and the room temperature butter. And since the clarified butter is just melted, a pastry brush is gonna work best for that. Let's start with the room temperature butter bread and see how it toasts up. The room temp butter looks great, smells great, the crunch looks amazing to me. Next up, the clarified butter bread, same exact deal here. And this one looks almost exactly the same as the room temperature butter, except it has a little bit more even browning. Next up, the mayo bread, and what I noticed when toasting this is it took twice as long as the butter. I had to leave it on medium heat for 5 minutes to get that same browning effect. All right, gonna start with the all butter here. Crunchy, buttery, delicious. It's what we all know and love. I love it. Next up, clarified butter. That is noticeably crunchier. Same kind of delicious butter flavor, except more crunch. Now let's try this wet dog toast. It has a wet dog kind of smell to it. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life, but do yourself a favor and try a mayo bread next to a butter bread. This has vinegar in it, this has eggs in it, so it has a taste of acidic vinegar and overcooked eggs to me. And soggy in the middle, it's only crunchy around the edges. Now, my cameraman Marcus is right here. I'm gonna convert somebody before your very eyes. He will never put mayo on a freaking grilled cheese ever again. Let's go. I want your honest opinion.
That's just toast, baby.
Tastes good? Now try the clarified butter and notice the crunch. Right, now try your mayo. He loves mayo. Try it. Just unbiased, try it and just taste.
Dude, it's gross.
That is how you convert a mayo person. For me personally, I would go with either just room temperature butter or clarified butter. For me, the clarified butter had a little bit more crunch, but both had that great butter flavor. Time to figure out which of the cheap cheeses I like best. Same deal, medium heat for 2 to 3 minutes. And personally, I like to melt my cheese under the broiler so both pieces of bread stay on the pan and they brown evenly. Just 30 seconds under the broiler, then you can close it up and it's ready to go. The clarified butter really did an amazing job for the crunch on the bread, and I would recommend resting it on a wire rack so it doesn't get soggy. If you put these things on a cutting board straight when they're hot, they can get soggy on the side that's touching the board. Here we go. Gooey grilled cheese. There are so many great cheap cheeses, but honestly for me, cheddar I think is just really one of the very best. Even for a $2 pack of cheese, 20 cents per slice, this is delicious. The next grilled cheese we're making with Jack. I happen to really love Jack cheese. It's got a more subtle flavor than cheddar, but I think it's delicious. And we're just following the exact same process for all these different grilled cheeses. Toast it up in the pan, 30 seconds under the broiler, close it up, rest it on the rack for 30 seconds, and you're ready to eat. Okay, here we go. Jack. I like Jack cheese. This cheap Jack is good. It has more of a subtle flavor than cheddar, obviously, but it doesn't quite have the same gooiness. It's stiffening up pretty quick once it's starting to cool down, so I'm definitely rating cheddar above this for now. Next up, Swiss cheese, a very popular melting cheese worldwide, and we're following that exact same process. Okay, Swiss. Cheap Swiss. Not a crazy huge fan of Swiss, but I like it. It's definitely my least favorite so far. Obviously, it's not a great Swiss given the price. It just stiffens up really, really quick, even though this just came out of the pan. Yeah. Next up, the absolute pride of America, American cheese, our plastic liquid gold. I don't think you can even buy this stuff unless you live here. Same exact process. Let's see how it tastes. All right, here we go, American cheese. It's plasticky, it's gluey, it's what we all know and love. Look, if you grew up in America, there's a part of you that loves this because you had it when you were a kid. So it's the cheapest American cheese I could find. There are definitely better brands of American cheese, but so far as it stands, I'm gonna rate it from best to worst. Cheddar, Jack, American cheese, and then Swiss. Okay, here we go, fancy grilled cheese. Taleggio, I paid $9.20, Raclette $7.50, and Fontina $7. So the Fontina just smells like a nice, delicious, creamy cheese. The Raclette smells like a mixture of my dog's paw and old socks. Now, the Taleggio smells like something that you definitely shouldn't put in your body. But trust me, it tastes great, okay? The best cheeses smell the worst. Everybody knows this. French, anybody French watching? You know. Marcus, come smell these for a sec. Get in here, buddy.
Yum. God, dude.
That's not even the worst one.
Ew, dude.
Now, if you're asking me, when working with Taleggio cheese, you definitely want to trim off those stank rinds, that's for sure. Same deal with the Raclette here. I'm gonna trim off these moldy pieces around the edge. The Fontina is fine, so I'm just gonna cut that into pieces. And with all the rest of my cheese, just cut it into nice little slices. For the bread, I just went to my local kind of fancy supermarket and spent $5 on this buttermilk sourdough. I'll just make some nice thick slices worthy of a fancy grilled cheese. The last cheese we're gonna use here is Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm gonna use that on the outside of the bread. That costs $18 or $12.49 a pound. And all you wanna do is microplane this onto a tray. Then I'm just using the room temperature butter here because the clarified butter wouldn't be as sticky, and dipping the edge of that bread into the Parmesan. I'm bringing a non-stick pan up to medium heat and just dropping in some of that clarified butter. Then I'm just simply dropping my bread in Parmesan side down, of course, and loading up all my fancy cheeses. After about 3 minutes, take a little peek underneath, and when that Parmesan is golden brown, drop it under the broiler again for 45 seconds or so. Once it's bubbling, take it out, close up your present, and set it on the wire rack for about 30 seconds. But check out this monster of a sandwich. That is ooey gooey deliciousness, my friends. All right, there we go, ooey gooey. Probably put a little too much cheese in here, but oh well. Oh. I definitely can tell it has quality ingredients. It's phenomenal. Oh man. Oh, Marcus is tasting. Oh. Right?
This is way better.
I just made another cheap grilled cheese so I can taste it after the expensive one, just to see what's up. Yeah, this is way better. That was a joke. Here's my conclusion on the matter. Eating this cheap grilled cheese with the cheddar just transports me back to my childhood, and I love the nostalgic effect it has on me. Having said that, I've worked as a chef for the last 18 years, so I can really appreciate these powerhouse melting cheeses like Raclette, Taleggio, Gruyere, Fontina, and on it goes. But this will forever have its place in my heart. You know I love you and I'm out!